Let's begin with some terminology I'll be using when discussing lists and vertical display lists in particular. A list or listing is the term used for an entire list, including the lead-in and the list items. The list items can be numbered, bulleted, or any type of general list. The lead-in is the text that introduces the list items and is an important element of the list as it dictates the structure. It can be a full sentence, a phrase, or the beginning section of a long sentence, or it can even be a heading. When a heading is used, make sure it fits in with the rest of the heading hierarchy. For our purposes, sublist is the term used for a minor list that is contained within one list item in the list. So in this example, marketing and sales forms the sublist of business development. Sometimes a full sentence can be used to introduce a series of bullet points or list items. Let's call this a leader sentence. You can end the sentence with a full stop or period, as it is a complete sentence. However, I do understand that many writers prefer to use a colon as it signifies a relationship between the lead-in and the list items. Leader sentences can be followed by list items that are full sentences themselves, like in this example, or they can be followed by list items that are considered to be standalone lists where the list items are just a few words long and not a complete sentence. Use numbering rather than bullet points when items are in a chronological order and item 1 comes before item 2, which in turn happens before item 3. Once you've decided on the punctuation you'll use at the end of the leader sentence, make that the rule and keep it consistent within the document. Generally speaking, I recommend you only use sublists with standalone lists or lists that are themselves full sentences, or the structure of the list won't make any sense at all. Sometimes a phrase or the beginning part of a complete sentence is used to introduce a series of list items. Let's call this lead-in the leader phrase. When read aloud, the list items complete the sentence that began with the lead-in. This is a great way to structure or vertically display what would otherwise be a sentence that contains a number of items. It makes it easier to read and comprehend, and it looks better by adding white space to the page. The choice of leader sentence or leader phrase needs to match with the wording in the list items. Let's take this vertical display list as an example. The lead-in is a leader phrase, so the expectation is that if you read the lead-in and then the list items, it should sound like a full sentence, but it doesn't. What it sounds like is, to improve your chances of renewing the cleaning contract, you should many carpets aren't vacuumed, which isn't good at all. So what can you do? There are 3 ways to fix the problem. First, you can change the list items so that they follow on correctly. Second, you can change the leader phrase to a leader sentence that introduces the concepts covered in the items. Or third, you can replace the lead-in with an appropriate heading. There is just one last thing to say. Lists have a specific use in business writing. They are used to vertically format information in a list form and are not recommended purely to separate independent paragraphs in a document.